This is Jim McGinnis, author of Tending to the Past. This passage is on the nature of democracy. People came here not coming to, but getting out of and away from there, the degradation, oppression, and despair. For here in this place lives an idea that a member of the human race can possibly advance to something higher, something deeper. Any man or woman free from all those brimstone rants, taking liberty at second glance, disenthralled, free in great wide open space, can find a sovereign grace. I believe any understanding of the Republic requires a grasp of Emerson and Thoreau. Maybe John Muir would help. If democratic government finds its only legitimacy in guaranteeing individual rights, then we should embrace the culture created by this personal liberty. These great 19th century writers started peeling back the layers of the onion in order to gain understandings of a rights-based society. What emerges from their work is a vital sense of connectedness. In discovering the value of his own freedom, one gains an appreciation for the freedom of others. I have a pretty strong understanding of the Constitution, but before I read Thoreau, I never fully understood the centrality of rights in our republic. Individual liberty not only offers legitimacy to a democratic government, it is essential to its functioning. Here we find the process by which a citizen becomes the most fundamental element in a democratic society. Majorities and minorities are not the most vital factors in the workings of a democracy. It is the individual citizen himself who makes it work. Whether his journey to the woods was literal or figurative, the purpose was the same. In becoming self-reliant, both physically and psychologically independent, the individual acquires a sense of resistance on behalf of others. Thoreau believed that those of us who are safe have an obligation to take risks to help the less fortunate. The individual has a responsibility to make sure others enjoy those rights he himself possesses. But he must arrive at the realization on his own. When we teach about freedom, we must make students understand that it's a process of discovery rather than a simple, static birthright. A student must eventually grasp the fragile nature of rights and realize how freedoms are interdependent upon others' freedoms. Is it any wonder that it was Abraham Lincoln, a man from the woods, who so artfully expressed the reciprocal nature of freedom? We often marvel at the fact that Lincoln rose from humble beginnings. Perhaps it's more important to recognize what he brought with him. Thoreau urged us to take in the world with appreciation and admiration, but it was that development of a feeling of connectedness that moved past self-concern which makes his work so resonant. Is it possible for Americans to comprehend sacrifice, community, and shared responsibility without first understanding the value of our own liberties? I'm not much of a social engineer myself, but the proposition here is that there has to be a process by which an individual must stand on his own hind legs before he can become a functional citizen. Here again, we stumble upon the reason why American history is so indispensable, and why the American story must never be separated from the American idea. A lack of understanding of the fundamental American principles can lead to the creation of policies that weaken them. Again, we are reminded that liberty is more than the lack of restraint. Each of us are bound by what Jefferson called an inner voice, a conscience. If you don't believe in this conscience, then we should stop right here. There's no need to go further with this. If you don't think people know what's best for them, then we should fold up the maps and be done with it. Democracy rests on the premise that the individual is responsible for his own fate, his own salvation, as Luther put it. If government becomes the surrogate conscience of individuals, a third party charged with doling out justice and compassion, are we not separating individual liberty from its purpose? By giving government such responsibilities, are we not abdicating our own?